this short demo definitely will be super clear for you, and you will understand why you must start working with PickFu. So first of all, Anthony, thank you for being here. You are a representative of PickFu. I will give you the stage to present yourself and tell a little bit about the PickFu, and we will dive in your demo.
All right, well, Guy, thank you so much for having me on. Guys, I'm sorry if it's a little bit loud in the back. I'm here in the United States right now, and I'm in an area where cell phone reception isn't so good, a little bit remote. So I hope everyone will be able to hear me all right. Again, thanks so much for having me. I understand that this is one of the first talks in English, so I'll talk nice and slow. If you guys have any questions, feel free to let me know. So I'm going to jump right in. Essentially, what we're going to be talking today about is a tool called PickFu. PickFu is essentially a really fast and rapid way that you can get consumer insights from real customers in a matter of minutes, right? And so the way that I really like to explain this best is think about a big brand like Nike, right? When they're launching a product, you might hear about product launches that are failures, right? But at the end of the day, Nike is never sitting there on thousands and thousands of units of inventory. They're able to liquidate products at the end of the day. They never completely fail because they've done a lot of research. In fact, to launch any product, Nike spends about $70,000 just on consumer research, on the product design, on the packaging, on the branding, all of these different things. And so what PickFu allows customers to do is get consumer feedback. Rather than having to go through these mass market testing companies, you can get feedback in just an hour. So kind of like why customer feedback matters, we're going to walk through it in a minute, but when you're selling products on Amazon, whether it's your product packaging, whether it's your logo, the actual product design, it's really important to get these things right from the beginning. And so I'll just walk through real quick what the general, and I'll share my screen real quick. Now, I told Guy that this presentation is only going to be, just have it up right here. This presentation is only going to be about 20, 30 minutes. I want to just show you guys how PickFu works and answer your questions. But I recently just gave a real big talk, this best practices for conversion optimization. So basically the big areas, I'll give you guys access to this deck later, but the big areas where people are really using PickFu for a lot are examples like, actually what I'll do first, Guy, if it's okay, is I'll just get started on a PickFu test. And then I'll go through and go through some of the examples in just a minute about how people use PickFu. So
yes, maybe this will simplify first what this tool is doing, actually. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. So I'm going to jump right in here. I'm going to show you guys, this is the actual interface in PickFu. So imagine, for example, if I have these two logos, right? And I want to test between one version of a logo versus another version of a logo. You'll see it a lot with like, you can use it for product design. You can use it for anything. So for right now, I'm just going to start. I'll show you guys how the interface works. And for what I'm going to do is I'm going to test a main image. So I've got some here that I've already saved. 1 second.
This is actually what we call A/B testing for all those sellers that, heard that term. So this is what we are actually doing right now, but in a professional, very cool technological way.
Okay. So as you guys will see, do you see my screen right now, Guy?
Yes.
Okay, so I've got two products right here. These are both the same products. These are fitness resistance bands. And so what I'm doing in this first test is I want to test, okay, I've got main image 1 and main image 2. Now, you guys know main image is super important for getting a good click-through rate. You want the main image to be engaging. You want people to bring it in. So I'm going to set up this poll real quick. This is just, you have two different options. You could do a votes or explanations. That's where people are actually going to vote as to which design they prefer. Or you can do open-ended feedback where people just give you feedback. But we're going to go with votes and explanations. And I'm going to say, which image, oops, he's got caps lock on. Which image do you prefer for this set of fitness? For the set of fitness resistance bands, I always like to clarify kind of what they're getting. And then, so now I'm going to go down. And so you can put in more than 2 options. I'm just going to do 2 options for this poll. And then what's really cool here is when you go into select your audience, you can select an audience between 50 people all the way up to 500. I'm just going to do 50. And then you could do a general audience. Now, keep in mind, all of our panel, we have about 10,000 people on our panel. They're all based in the United States. So nothing for markets outside of the US just yet. But you can pick a targeted audience. And the most common thing that people choose is they're going to click an Amazon Prime member. But I could also go and I could say, oopsies, I could go and say, I want to have, let's see, we have all of these different factors that we've actually segmented our audience by. And so I can actually go down here to exercise frequency as one of our factors. We've got a whole bunch of factors here. And I'm going to pick people, I'm just going to pick people with medium and high exercise. I'm just assuming that's what our target market is. Obviously, you would know if you're selling this product.
So once you choose Prime members, so all of the 50 people will be Prime members for sure, right? 100%.
Bingo. So I can do my audience targeting either, I can select who is part of the audience. So in this case, I'm only going to have people that have a medium or a high exercise frequency, and I'm only going to have Amazon Prime customers. Now, down here at the bottom, what I could do, it's already going to tell me the gender and age range of everyone who answers. You're going to see this in just a minute, but I could also add in more categories here. And so now it would, if for example, I don't know why I would want to do it in this example, but if for example, I wanted to put on their alcohol drinking consumption, I could put that on and it won't filter the people who actually see the poll, but it will give me that information in the end. But I'm just going to take that one off and yeah. And
so
then
you usually recommend to use only one filter or two max?
Oopsies, I have to sign in. What we normally recommend, it really depends on how much you know. I guess I have to reset that poll 1 second. It really depends on how much you know about your customer. I would say if you absolutely know that my customer is a wine drinker, or you know what their frequency is, then you can select. But if you're really not quite sure, or for the fitness bands example, the person, you know, they might not work out at all yet. You know, they might be looking to get into working out. So you really have to know your customer, and the more you know your customer, the more you can filter down what you're looking for.
It reminds me a little bit about all those advertising filters you have on Facebook ads, where you add more and more and more filters, and it, you know, decreases your audience.
Absolutely. Okay, so sorry about that, guys. I just had to restart the test. But I'll just keep all the same criteria. Yeah, this is from my old one. Normally I'll put in credit score. It's a good one, but I'll just keep down here gender, age range, income, ethnicity, and education. And for this, I'm just going to actually put in, we're just going to put in an Amazon Prime audience. Okay, cool. So as you can see, all you really do is you upload both options and then you click start. And now we're rolling. So what's going to happen, guys, you're going to see in a minute, is these results are going to start to come in right away. Now, most of the tests, depending on how many audiences you filter down, it's going to take a little bit longer. But if you're just going with a general audience, it can be done in as fast as 30 minutes. And usually it won't take much longer than an hour. Now, keep in mind, all of these people are in the United States rather. So if you're running it in Israel and you're running it in your day, it might be a little bit off by about 6 hours. So if you're running them at night, it'll take a little bit longer on results.
Are those people are getting an email from PickFu? How they know they need to, you know, vote?
Good question. So these people are part of a third-party testing software. Essentially, they get a notification when the test starts, and they have an incentive. Our whole goal with PickFu is we want to make it as fast as possible. So they're actually going to get a notification, and they want to try to go in and get this responses in. Okay, so we're gonna let this one run, Guy. I'm gonna show you as well. I was thinking about starting another test. Oopsies. But
if you choose a bigger audience, you pay more. Is that like a fixed price, $50 per 50 people?
Exactly. So it starts off at $1 per response. And then where it's going to go from there is as you add on more of those factors, depending on how specific the group is, sometimes it'll add on like 20 cents per response or 10 cents per response. But some of there's really niche ones, like we have a big audience that uses PickFu for testing mobile game development. Mobile game is like a little bit more expensive. So that might add like 80 cents per response. But normally it's going to be just adding, you know, around 10, 20 cents per response.
Can you tell us the percentage of the sellers that use it for A/B testing on Amazon? Is that a stat that you have?
Say that one more time, Guy.
Do you have the percentage of the sellers that use PickFu for A/B testing on Amazon out of other companies and users that use PickFu for their industries?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think PickFu is actually still quite small. I think most people, PickFu has been around for about 8 years. And I think if you go to mastermind sessions, or advanced workshops. You'll see it in some people's presentations at the end. It's still really only used widely by expert level sellers. I will tell you recently, I don't know if you've ever heard of a company called Thrasio. They're one of the largest acquirers of Amazon FBA businesses. So I'll share this link as well. They just raised
we shared
almost
it, by the way.
$100 million. And we've got a good video. Their VP of product is giving a testimonial, and they say they don't make any creative decisions without using PickFu. And so the thing, again, that I really want to emphasize is, like, as you're launching these products, you're spending all this time and effort and money in launching these products. Don't just go to your spouse and say, hey, what do you think about this product packaging? Or, go to a coffee shop and try to ask people their feedback. Customer feedback, you don't need to use PickFu. You can use whatever method you have of finding that information, but it is really important to avoid those big mistakes.
Or the worst, you count on yourself. If you like it or not, you're super subjective. And this is one of the biggest problems of sellers in their beginning.
Yeah, bingo. So while this test is running, we're getting some feedback. It's coming in right now. But while this test is actually running, I'm going to walk you guys through some of the most common examples, the most common case studies of people using PickFu. That might kind of jog some people's inspiration. And then if you guys have any questions, we'll let that test start to run. So I'm just going to run through this. Guy, I'll also give you access to this deck. This is a talk that I recently gave about a week ago at the Sourcey Summit. And so this thing is almost 40 minutes long, and there's like a ton of examples. I won't be able to go through all of them here, but I'll go through as quick as possible. So here's an example real clear about like two very good options for a logo, right? This is for a wood manufacturing company. They do wood furniture. Two very good options, but you'll see on the left-hand side, people, they really like showing the tree. They really like showing kind of what things look like. You can use it for different things as well, like when you're doing your product design. So here on the left-hand side, you've got this dark wood versus light wood. Very two similar designs for this banner that they wanted for this home sweet home sign. I'm going to keep rolling down. Testing different things, like with your main image, you could decide, hey, do I want to show the product just itself, or do I want to show the product with the product packaging?
It's also good for variation. If you mentioned the colors, so it's a good decision for the sellers to decide maybe to launch another variation of a color or size or whatever.
Absolutely. Yeah, different color variations are a big one. Just think about this as well. Like, think about if you have this, you're selling these reusable grocery bags. This is your main image. This main image is fine, but when you would go and test it against the top competitor, if you say this versus this, it's very clear. And some of these things, if you're working with a creative team, whether you're outsourcing it, whether you're using your own creative team, just getting these kind of feedback are things that you might not think of, but things that your customer will. So, Guy, I'm gonna pull over here. As you can see, right over here in the tab, I don't know if you can read that. It's actually saying we've got 16 new responses. So I'm gonna come over here. I'm gonna click on this. And so you'll see this is quick, right? We have 16 out of 50.
Yeah, it's a third already.
Load new responses. And bam, I'm not super surprised to see that right off the bat, option B is taking the cake. Now, Guy, what's really cool about this is people don't just vote on the product that they want. They're actually also required to give detailed feedback as to why they chose that. So if I scroll down here, I can start to see why people actually like option B over option A. So people are saying, and I've actually run this test before, so I kind of knew a little bit why this image wins.
You can summarize, yes.
Say what?
You can summarize, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. But I wanted to do this one live and show you guys that how fast it comes in. But the reason people actually like this product a lot more versus this or this image, can you pick it out, Guy? Can you see what do you think the reason is people pick option B over option A?
Yeah, first of all, the most first thing that I see is the packaging, and I see the exercising man there, so my head can link immediately the product to the activity. So this is one. Of course, there's the logo on the bag. It's like a hidden marketing branding, which is also gives a lot of social proof. Also, the composition of the things are a little bit more comfortable to the eye to see all the details, and also the hooks are much more bigger, so it's impressive, a little bit more impressive. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, so you got it all right, but there's one thing, and I'm really glad that you didn't bring it up. There's one thing that when anyone who's selling this product, by the way, anyone who's selling fitness resistance bands, this is a game changer. So when I scroll down, I definitely see, okay, this one's got the logo on the bag, this one's got the product packaging. They're the exact same products, but there's one small difference. When you scroll down, people are going to say over and over again that this set shows the amount of resistance. It shows the resistance strength, shows the resistance strength. And so that's
The
something when I
counts.
actually saw this come through, oh my goodness gracious, duh, of course this makes so much sense. I can see now that the red band is for 50 pounds, the yellow band is for 10 pounds.
Yeah.
So now not only have I figured out this main image is better because, or I could go and match the image. And by the way, both of these are both on page 1. These are 2 of the top sellers for this product. And so if I was seller A and I wanted to go make this better, I would go to my creative team and I'd say, hey, let's add logos, let's add our packaging. But the most important thing is when I would go back to my manufacturer, I've sold through my 1,000 units, I'm going to go place my reorder. I go to my manufacturer and I would say, what do I got to do? What do I got to do to go and put 10 pounds, 50 pounds, 20 pounds on all of these? Because that's something that people really, really want to see. Now, I'm going to pull this up real quick. It's just going to take me 1 minute. Because I've actually run, let me see. So these are all other demos that I've done. But you'll see, so I've actually run this test before. I'm going to open up both of these so you guys can see what the results look like on the back end for the same product. Got to go one more page over. 1 second.
So the sellers will be able to go back to their dashboard and they can, back to their A/B testings to see the results, to analyze. It's there for life, right?
Exactly, yeah. And so let me pull this one up. So I'll show you guys what, now, again, you'll see we got another 15 responses here. I can load them. Oopsies. I'm just going to go up to the top. So load 20 new responses. So again, just so you guys can see how quickly this is coming in, we've got 29 votes for option B, only 7 votes for option A. We can see the feedback coming in. Now, I just like doing that, again, because I like showing you guys how quick it is. But these results, I've already done this test. And I think it's, just so you can see, these are real people. And I'll share both of these guys with you. You'll be able to see that these responses that we got when I did this demo a few weeks ago, they're very different people. These are real people. They're being paid to answer these responses. But what's kind of cool
for A option, and he says, "I don't want to see the jacked man over there on the packaging."
Oh, did someone say that?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
funny. Yeah, they don't want to. So okay, so here's what's cool, guys. So when you're in here now, so this test is done. I can come here and I can actually, very similar to how Helium 10 on their review downloader, I can come and I can see here the frequency of the words. And as you'll see here, 11 people are saying, just talking about resistance, just talking about that they want to see that. Now, the other thing that's helpful too, you were asking about, hey, is this information here? Can I share this? You absolutely can. You just copy and paste this link. You can share it with anyone you want. But what's also cool is now I can come here and see how it has this little pin feature. I can say, hey, I think that's helpful. I think that's helpful. I think that's helpful. And I can pin it. When I share this information, if I want to share it with my designer, for example, I can pin the responses that I really like, and I can share it with my business partner. I can share it with my sourcing agent. And it's going to maintain all of those. The other thing that's really helpful, because this is a question that we get a lot, is people say, well, are these real people? How can I be sure that the information I'm actually getting is helpful, right? So you can actually go here, and some people, they're going to tell you, they're going to give real detailed responses, right? And it might be like, whoa, that was really out of the box. I never thought about that. What you can actually do is you can click, hey, this is helpful, and you can decide as to why it's helpful. And when you do that, actually, we have a machine learning algorithm that we've been training for 8 years. And so the system already knows when responses are more helpful or less helpful. And if someone comes in and someone gives you something that's just a crap response and you really just don't like it, you click not helpful. And what actually happens is our machine learning algorithm will actually remove people from the panel over time that are not giving helpful responses. So just kind of throwing that out there. I want to open it up for questions for you guys. As you can see, this one is almost done. It's going to be very similar responses. Let me see if there's, I mean, I've got a bunch of these tests. I could walk you guys through like a million examples of, just different things of how you lay it, you set up your main image, whatnot, but I'll open it for questions with you guys.
Yes. So first of all, guys, if you have any questions, this is the time to ask. This live will be streaming afterwards. So you can also mention Anthony is in our group. He will answer you after this live whenever he's free. But I think the main issue here for me as a veteran seller is that you said that most of the users are, big sellers. Those are doing big numbers, and it's just saying that this is the methods that the big sellers are using. So if you guys are in your beginning, this is definitely one of the tools that you need to use in your toolkit in order to enhance your work, enhance your research methods, enhance your creativity and your creatives and your photos. And you can use it as Anthony mentioned here also for your branding, for your packaging, for any A/B testing that you can think and be creative. I will not hold you here because we can wait and more for questions. So I will just give people the opportunity to ask you afterwards. And maybe you can also mention the great promo that you are giving here to our audience.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to clarify there as well, I think PickFu is still not super well known, and that's all I meant when who's using it most now. It's kind of like a best kept secret that some of the other sellers wouldn't really want to share. But absolutely, PickFu, if you're a beginner seller, that's 100% where you want to be using it. When you're first launching and validating a product, what you want to avoid the most is selling a product or designing something that is just totally off. And so 90% of the time you might be right in your gut instinct. You might be like the most creative and perfect person. But for me, I like to just double check, right? And most sellers, most big companies, they're just going to reduce the risk just the same way that you do your quality assurance. It's just something you need to do. It's just something you want to dot your T's and cross your I's. Now, in terms of the promo, what we have for you guys is if you use the code RPGECOM, we're also going to give we're going to give you a special URL, which is going to take you to a customized landing page. That's going to get you 50% off of your first pull. So normally your first pull is going to be $50, $1 per response. So your first test you can run for as little as $25. There will also be a special offer in the next couple of weeks for a Q4 prep package. By and large, when people are launching a product, they're running anywhere from 4 to 7 tests per product. That's what we see is average. So we will have a new special offer that's going to be a Q4 prep package, which includes 6 tests. That'll come out in the next couple of weeks.
Cool.
And we'll be giving you that code as well.
And for those people that are thinking that $50 are too much for an A/B testing, just think of how much money we spend as sellers on ridiculous things and things that we are not sure that are going to work. Here, $50 can help you to choose a photo or something else that will increase your conversion rate, and just think on the sales that you can make much more with product research, photo research, audience research based photo or packaging or logo. So think big, wide your thinking on this matter, and this is really worth spending on A/B testing. So we know that there are other tools for A/B testing, but this is something real, something that you can even touch, like you're speaking with people, speaking with real sellers, something that Amazon is not giving us. So this is a great demo. Thank you very much. People are saying here that they're going to use it. So it's cool. That's it. Hopefully to invite you soon over to do another demo or tell us about the success story with another company like Feroccio.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. And what I'll say too is, prior to working with PickFu, I ran a creative agency for almost 2 years. I've seen literally thousands of listings. I've done this literally a bunch of times. And so if anyone needs any help as well, I know, people won't want to, give their product away and different things like that, but I'm more than happy. This is my job. Literally all I get paid to just like learn this stuff and come up with the most aggressive strategies for how to get really good. So if you just want to hop on the phone, I'm happy to look at your listings, give you an audit. No charge for any of this stuff, point you guys in the right direction. I'm happy to help out in any way. And Guy, thanks again for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much for your time. I can't believe you just offered it. I will call you. Okay. Thank you. Stay safe.
Sounds good.
Bye bye.